entirely different direction. See? This which is the Tao in Chinese. I take it in all at once. I need a sentence to translate that word in English. But it's more of a picture than it is like ordinary words. And as you grasp all the elements of the picture simultaneously, you see the form altogether at once. That is nearer to the way nature exists. Nature, things in nature exist altogether at once. Everything's happening altogether everywhere all at once. You know? And we say, well, in words, it won't stop for you to describe it. Take too long. By the time you've described it, it's all different. So we do, you see, luckily for us, have an aspect of our organism which is paying attention to all the things we don't notice. This is how you can walk without stumbling, how you can drive a car downtown and at the same time carry on a conversation with a friend, because it is your subconscious, as it were, or whatever you call it, that is taking care of the driving and is watching out for the red and green lights and for the other cars, while your consciousness is preoccupied with a conversation. So, however, in a culture where the value of spotlight consciousness is exalted, and that is you, then do you see you have an exceedingly great need for state number 2.
If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, ride your bike. If you're happy and you know it, then your face will surely show it.
If you're happy and you know it, smile big and bright.
Thousands of kids just like me are happy every day.
And it's all because of generous people like you who support Shriners Hospitals for Children every month.
Because of people like you, Shriners Hospitals for Children is able to make an everyday miracle happen for kids like me. Your monthly gift today could change your life forever. Because of you, we are happy and we know it. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Please, go online right now to give. LoveToTheRescue.org right away.
To talk. Because the spotlight is so bright, and you can have too much of it so fast. And also, if you identify yourself with that only, you identify yourself with the troubleshooting aspect of your organism, and you become relatively unaware of the amazingly harmonious and happy states of your organism that are going on all the time. And in times you see certain kinds of culture, certain epochs in history, people emphasize that you've always got to be on the watch. And they regard it as very sinful to relax into the beautiful, wonderful processes that are going on in us that are harmonious constantly. See, to enjoy breathing. That's a silly thing to do. Most people would say, well, enjoy breathing? What's that going to achieve? This is all goes back, you see, to this Christian idea. Brethren, be sober, be vigilant. For your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour, whom resists steadfast in the faith. You know the hymn, Christian, dost thou see them on this holy ground, how the powers of darkness prowl and prowl around. Christian, up and fight them, you know. And wowee, it's going on all the time. See, you're never safe. Just as there are termites in the basement, gnawing away. Parasites in your blood. Probably few little cancer cells kicking up somewhere. Go to the doctor, inspect, check up. Once every 2 months, watch. It's coming. See? It's coming. And you've got to correct it here, correct it there, keep everything going. Otherwise, the weeds keep coming in. If you don't watch out, the birds are all over the roof. Birds, keep watching human beings. The minute the birds got any idea that a house is really vacant, they're going to move in. Squirrels, rats, everybody is waiting. And so on the spiritual level, there are the demons. They're just waiting, watching for you. So stay awake. Don't dare go to sleep. Don't ever relax. Because if you do, in it will come. Watch therefore and pray. You never know when it's going to happen. So this is the complete identification of man with his troubleshooter. Just got to be on the watch. Now, the only difficulty about this is that when you manage to protect yourself so successfully against all the powers of darkness, you reach the point where you become the kind of creature that's no longer worth protecting. It's the same sort of thing that happens, that if to defeat the Nazis you have to become Nazis, what was the point of the fight? If to defeat the Gestapo, the Secret Service of the Red Chinese and all that plot, we have to have a secret police ourselves who are going to be just as bad as theirs, what is gained? What are you protecting? See? The biggest farce of all is this, that if you want to know the real lowdown on the next war, join the Air Force and be safe. Because the only people who are really going to be protected are the guards. You'll be able to have either be way up there, or else you'll be in great, vast basements in Nevada, where they've built under-mountain airports with all sorts of oxygen tanks and supplies and things that last forever. Because what a farce the whole thing has become. The original idea of guards and soldiers was to protect the women and the children. Now what we do is we have the women and children bombed out of existence in the cities, whereas the guards are guarded. So all guarding eventually becomes guarding of guards. It's circles of defense protecting circles of defense. And in this way, mammals turn into mollusks. A mammal is so constructed, you see, that the hard stuff is on the inside and the soft stuff on the outside. A mollusk is the other way around, with the hard stuff on the outside and the soft stuff on the inside. Well, nature favors a bit mammals over mollusks, because a mammal is more sensitive, more responsive. See, a mollusk, you go donk on it and it doesn't feel anything. Whereas a mammal is really pliable, which is why, of course, in military tactics, we abandoned armor. A knight in armor was completely helpless once he was unhorsed. Because he wore this armor, but he depended upon the forward rush of the horse and his lance to just blow through everything. But once you managed to unhorse him, he was the clumsiest thing. He was like a lobster. And all you had to do was to knock him down and crack open his shell with a can opener. So, increased mobility was found to be more effective. So now, this watch business. Watch, guard, always be watching, see? As I say, it creates, it protects, it encourages a style of life which eventually is not worth living, because it is like being the great dictator. It is like trying to be God. If you're the great dictator and you're in charge of everything, you should read a Hindu book called the Artha Shastra. This deals with advice to a man who is a Chakravartin, that means a turner of the wheel, or we would say a big wheel, who is the supreme ruler. And it tells him, first of all, that he mustn't trust anyone. No friends for you, my lord. No intimacies. Keep your own counsel. And especially, watch out for women. They have a way of worming secrets out of you for their favors which you want so much. So don't ever get too close to a woman. You can have concubines and prostitutes and everything like that to satisfy your physical needs. But don't fall in love. Trust no one. Then arrange it so that everybody around you mistrusts everyone else. You have set up what's called a kind of negative mandala. A mandala is a circle of power. You so arrange it that your immediate ministers are at odds with their subordinates. Why? Because if your immediate ministers do anything to betray you, their subordinates who want to occupy the superior position will sneak on them to you. Then you knock off the Grand Vizier and put someone in his place, because he's fool enough to want to get up there, but still. Then outside that rank, you have another rank of people at odds with those, and so all the way down, divide and rule. Then you live at the center yourself, and you have a secret passage connecting your inmost center with somewhere down the river where you've got a boat waiting in case anything goes wrong. And on the way out, there's a stone which you can remove. And when you remove this key stone as you escape through your underground passage, the entire palace will collapse, kill everyone in it. It gives you architectural instructions how to do this. Then, of course, you have to have poison testers for your food. Eat nothing until someone else has eaten it and see if they drop dead. And then you have to have guards standing beside you, always, day and night. But there are other guards secreted behind panels in the wall who are watching the guards guarding you. And so you can't really ever sleep except with one eye open. You can never be like an ordinary inconspicuous individual and take a carefree walk in the park, because you have got to be in control 24 hours a day. So do you see how Big Brother, this is a Hindu version of Big Brother, is the greatest prisoner of all? He is the captive of his own survival system. He can never go this way. He'd be finding it very difficult, too, to go this way. He has to be all the time playing God, playing the personal, autocratic monarch of the universe. Now, you may think this very courageous, and so on, but in the end, the game isn't worth the candle. It has to fall apart. So always watch it. That what you fight for is worth fighting for, and that it's something other than fighting for. Because otherwise you start fighting for. So these then, in sum, are the advantages and limits of waking consciousness. That it is a version of the world where what is important is what is valuable for survival, where we live for a future, where we live always watchful for trouble, because death is the thing most of all to be avoided.
If you're a business owner, then animated explainer videos are the best way to capture attention, get more followers, and drive more.
But this is a form of life which is always in danger of becoming not worth living. which totally ignores a whole world of experience going on all the time around us, which is magical, gorgeous, and far surpassing in depth and wonder most of the things which ordinary waking consciousness is pleasure. Yesterday afternoon, I was working mainly on the contrast between the normal state of waking conscious attention, which was this one, number 3, and what you might call the generalized awareness of the human organism. And I was using the metaphor of conscious attention as a spotlight and the generalized awareness of the organism as a floodlight. And showing how, by identifying ourselves with the spotlight operation of consciousness and with the voluntary neuromuscular system, we attain to a very partial conception of ourselves and a very partial and symbolic view of the world. That is to say, we see what we learn to notice, and we screen out everything else. We really don't notice anything that we don't also have a name for. And children are constantly asking when they're learning to talk, what is this and what is that? And you'll notice that children very often point to things for which we don't have any names, and they want to know what it is. For example, we don't, like some of the American Indians, have a name for dry space. Nor do we have a name for the inside surface of a cylinder. There may be a mathematical term for it, but in ordinary speech, the inside surface of a cylinder doesn't have a name for it. Except a long phrase, the inside surface of a cylinder. Nor, for example, do we see any connection between having 6 toes and pushing aside the branches of a bush to get through. But in an American Indian language, those are the same ideas. It's all based on the idea of V. You V the branches to get through, and you, as to your foot, you have a 6th one Ving off at the edge. You see, now, what you notice, what the way the world seems to you, the way its logical connections seem to you depend on whether you have words for it or whether you have symbols for it. So then, what happens is, as a result of concentrating on, or of using, shall I say, over-exercising the faculty for conscious attention, we come to have a sensation of our own existence as beings definitively separate from the outside world, the world beyond the skin, and from most of what goes on in our own bodies. And this state of affairs we could call alienation. When this state of affairs exists all by itself, but it is not necessary for that state of affairs to exist all by itself. The spotlight consciousness can be supplemented by increasing use of the floodlight consciousness so that it becomes balanced. We assume that the baby, before it has learned conscious attention and before it has learned any words, is all the time using floodlight consciousness with a little bit of spotlight, and therefore would feel, as Freud supposed, oceanic, that is to say, at one with its surroundings. When later words are used and it is taught to be itself and to construct the outside world as society constructs it and conceives it, then the baby develops a sense of having a separate ego. And this development is brought about by means of a stratagem, which gives the infant a great deal of confusion. Because since the baby is given a sense of identity by parents and teachers and relatives and other children, it is unable to resist the pressure put upon it by the social group. The pressure of a group, even upon an adult, is enormously powerful. Much more so on a child. So the odd thing is that by the commanding pressure of this group, the child is informed that it is free. That is to say that it is an independent agent and an originator of actions for which this separate identity is to be held responsible. And in that, you see, there is a weird gimmick, because the baby is told that it must be free.
Did you know that Amazon has a $50 million fund that they have to pay out every month? And here's how you can get a cut of it. My name is Charlotte Mickelson, and we help everyday people grow their income with...
You are ordered to be free. That is to say, you are required to do actions which will be acceptable only if you do them voluntarily. And this basic contradiction that underlies our sensation of personal existence is the result why most people are confused, and why there is a nagging sense of frustration underlying all civilized human existence, because you are trying to solve a self-contradictory and therefore insoluble problem. How to be...
You're not the How much is hurting you? How much is hurting you that your grandparents are Jews? They denied you. Of course it's hurting you. Of course it's hurting you. Because you're not acceptable by the Jews. Because your mama got raped by a Muslim. Your mama got raped by a Muslim.
It's not that.
Your mama got raped by a Muslim. She was shamut on the side of the road.
Excuse me, Shuki, excuse me, can you put me in the queue, good Shabbos?
Go for it. This is Wagman, that piece of shit.
Yeah, I just want to say, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Asher Kiddushanu b'mitzvotah v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat b'nei pri hagam.
Amen.
Amen.
Boachem leshalom, malachei hashalom, malachei המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. שלום עליכם, מלאכי השלום, מלאכי מלאכי המלאכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. ברכוני לשלום, מלאכי השלום, מלאכי מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא.
You don't think you're gonna die? You don't think you're gonna die?
Everybody's gonna die at some point.
No, everybody's gonna die.
He's faking.
Esma Gawadi Ben Gawad. My mom, she's already 88. She's still alive. She's still doing the middle finger on your ass.
Your mother finger, your mother's dead.
No, she's alive. No, she's alive. She's alive. We are a family that live long life.
So let me go.
Why the yelling?
She was 13, huh? Your mother married you that when she was 13. That's why she.
No, Nope. Nope.
Pastor Gypsy. You're not a Jewish. You're a gypsy.
You idiot. She gave birth to me when she was 29. You moron? I am 60 years old. What?
You're
I want in your age. You're never going to get to my age. Yes.
Not 60. You're in 80s. You're in the 80s or 70s.
You see? Jewish people are looking good. Not like Muslim, because we don't fucking good. That's why we're looking good. You guys fucking good. That's why you're looking like shit.
Yeah, and you.
Unser Reben you, Reben you, Reben you. Oy ve Reben you, Reben you, Reben you. Unser Reben you, Reben you, Reben you. Oy ve Reben you. Unser Benju, unser Benju, unser Benju, unser Benju. Our Rabbi, oh, our Rabbi. Unser Revenue, 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 Oy vey Revenue,
He's not talking like that to a lady.
Revenue,
It's only
Revenue.
Islamic. They're talking like that to women.
Wagwan is basically a guy who has childhood trauma. We have to be considerate.
Dem
His
Rebbens
mom was being
Niggin.
fucked all
The
the time.
rabbis
He was
and
when he was
melody.
a kid. And he
In the
saw her
Sarek, my
being
first meeting with
spelled out
Peretz, Sholem
$5,
Ash,
$10 just to give him milk in the morning.
of one,
So of course,
Rebenu,
he had like childhood trauma. He
Rebenu,
thinks every
Oy,
woman is a
Oy, Rebenu.
power, like a
This may
bitch,
have been the
because
song
his
you
mom
was
was one. So I don't
Rebenu,
blame him
Oy,
for
Oy,
thinking
Rebenu,
that all mothers are
Rebenu, Oy, Rebenu.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Kiss
I
him
But
off the
doesn't,
next
like,
person
doesn't
and
you say
shoot
that
music.
about his mom proves his point?
No, actually, I'm just explaining why we shouldn't be mad at him for having such experience with his mom.
Hi, Shuki. Shuki, Shabbos is nearly upon us, and I'd like to sing a world famous song. It's called Our Rabbi.
Okay, go for it.
Okay, this song consists of two words written or arranged by Joseph Rumshinsky, 1881 to 1956, for Gershom Bader's operetta Dem Rebbens Niggin, the Rabbi's Melody, in 1919. In his article, My First Meeting with Peretz, Sholem Ash recalls that around 1901, Peretz often sang a Hasidic song consisting of one word, Rebbeinu, Oy Oy Rebbeinu. This may have been the song he was referring to. It was published as an anonymous folk song in 1911 by Kisselgruff by Max Persson in Sheet Music in 1919 and in subsequent folk song collections. We are indebted to the musicologist Meyer Noy of Tel Aviv for these sources. So without further ado, I give you Unser Rebbeinu. Unser Rebbeinu, Rebbeinu, Rebbeinu. Oy vey Rebbeinu, 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 unser Rebbeinu, Rebbeinu, Rebbeinu. Oy vey Rebbeinu, unser Rebbeinu, unser Rebbeinu, unser Rebbeinu, unser Rebbeinu, our Rabbi, oh, our Rabbi. Rebbeinu Shalom, good Shabbos!
Shabbos.
Hey, did you hear breaking news that U.S. intelligence agencies are saying that Israel is going to strike Iran's nuclear facilities? This just came across on CNN.
Did they say that like yesterday or like 2 days ago they were talking about?
We're talking about this in Gabby for a while you were in Gulag. When you were not invited, I was actually raising a concern about that. Did you hear me?
I can't understand it. This is an English-speaking room.
I was actually there arguing while you were in Gulag. I wonder how does it make you feel?
one of his oldest friends.
I know this fellow was said in his room. You know, he
What
come
is
up
that
with
now?
very strong point and push back. So,
Poria, you've never said anything that was either strong
well,
or
you
truthful.
can ask him next time. Come up with very good points, extremely concise points.
Poria, like everything else that comes out of your mouth, it's either bullshit or imbecilic.
Shalom, shalom,
Okay.
shalom, shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Why don't you keep the Shabbat Abdul, by the way?
I
Unbelievable.
am keeping the Shabbat. I'm about to
You're
go
doing
now.
something else. Stop the bad.
You can do both.
Unzakbe,
What are you, a rabbi now?
Doesn't mean that you do.
Eddie, why did you go down, Eddie?
You want to be a Jew now, Poria?
But bring Eddie up.
Why did you
Okay.
get?
I think that's Wagwan as a trans. I didn't know that Wagwan was a transgender. Oh wow.
If he's your old friend, why did you invite you to the stage, Abdul?
Because I came at the end for you. You didn't
Is
notice?
that right?
Yeah, that's right. A genocide apartheid.
And I had to do it. Obviously.
By the way.
And guess what he said? He said I agree with me. And then he
He
agreed.
Look at the chat.
What your old friend
The
said agree with
genocide
me.
apartheid.
He told me that he's a hardcore Democrat.
My name is Puria.
Hey, Puria, I've already notified International Homeland Security. They're coming to your house tonight to pick you up. We're going to send you back to Tehran before we drop the big one.
That seems fair.
Actually, he would love Tehran. We should send him to Qom.
Yeah, let's not give them free tickets.
Soren, I challenge you to tell us anything about yourself personally. Do you have a girlfriend, a wife, kids? What kind of hobbies do you have? I challenge you to say anything other than the fucking parrot box that you are.
Here's the boyfriend, he's a faggot.
That's okay.
Soren, what's your let me demonstrate to everybody. Soren, what is your favorite color?
My
That's
favorite
a
color.
personal question.
Yes, what is your favorite color, Soren?
Well, to be honest with you, it used to be blue, but not anymore. Not anymore. I hate the color of blue now.
So you don't have a favorite color
The
anymore?
Democrat fuck you up? The Democrat fuck you up? You want to be red now? You want Trump?
Yes.
Tomorrow it's gonna be so fun, so much fun to see how you guys dead, dying like cockroaches.
But tomorrow.
So much fucking.
How come Israel kills more Iranians outside of Iran than actually inside of Iran? Like, how many fucking Iranians live outside of Iran?
You will
Like
die
millions?
one by one by one.
Poria, I told you we were going to hit your nuclear sites. You didn't believe me, Poria. Who's right now, Poria?
Oh, did it attack already? I didn't know.
Who's right now, Poria?
Okay,
It
stop
did,
taking
Ron.
drugs, Abdul. How many times should I say, man of your age, should you take drugs?
Soren, are all those nuclear physicists getting in their Mercedes right now and driving up into the mountains to get away from the detonation site?
You don't need drugs anymore, Adrian. All you need is AI. AI is going to do everything for you these days.
Yeah, we've got above nuclear bombs now. We've got the first degree nuclear bombs just dropping. Like there's no tomorrow, one by one. Chop, chop, boom, 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 boom. I actually made a beat by one of the explosives they gave them one time. I actually made a beat. One of my friends is a DJ, and he's been playing around every single club he goes to.
Hello.
Well, look, he was right. Abdul was right about
In der Tiefkeit von der Nacht liegen Bag und Tollvertrag. Kolemen, Kaloi Mes, Kolemen, Kaloi Mes. Schichte Bag zum Tollabrich, entweder Tollbag Opse. Hi, King Shuki, I'd like to be put back in the queue. I'm now, since we're going to have to listen to this piece of shit, I'm just going to lower the volume and sing a beautiful Jewish song called Dreaming Dreams. In der Tiefkeit von der Nacht liegen Bag und Tollvertracht. Kolemen, Kaloi Mes, Kolemen, Kaloi Mes. Schickt der Bag zum Tollablich, entheft toll bald obsorich, selbige Rayones, Kolemen, Kaloimes, toll und barg und toll, blind Blumen on Atoll, Kishef, Umetum, widert ab der Bagakol, entfert wieder ab der Toll, bald wird still arum, bald wird still arum.
Hebrew and German.
Yeah, that's basically it.
That was a poem by Eliza Greenblatt from 1888 to 1975, music by Solomon Golub, 1887 to 52, published in sheet music by Metro Music Company, New York, 1932. This was Greenblatt's first published poem, Doo-Doo.
Thank you. Apparently, you have a magical voice that makes terrorists out of here.
You got to fight fire with, wretched fire.
I think it's Valentine's Day, so that's why they are getting so scared of love,
Could you imagine being in a relationship with somebody like Soren or Resistance, and all they do?
Ew.
Yeah, I mean, no poetry, no love, no affection, just really horrible men. But they're here because there's light in these rooms, so they're attracted to it. I mean, because their lives are wretched.
Soren says that if a woman is too good at sex, he's skeptical. He thinks they're a slut.
Oh, wow. So what does he want?
Someone bad.
A slum?
To be too open, they blame too open, on different things. I don't know what they blame, but yeah, I know where that stems from when he says that. I think I know. He just doesn't know good pussy.
I thought he's gay. Didn't he?
Yeah, he just doesn't know. But I think where a lot of it stems from, it just stems from not ever having good pussy. Because everybody's got pussy, but yeah, so I know where it stems from. And it's
You think it all stems from pussy?
Yeah, no, but it's an issue we all go
Is that a metaphor for God, basically? The labia, the clitoris, the flying orb?
The way Lucas says that word is very weird.
Which word was that again? Sorry.
That word, mate.
Pussy.
Yeah, why do you say it like that? For fuck's sake.
Because this is something that some
You
people
don't sound
find
American, Adam. Are you Somali?
I'm not American. Yeah, I'm from Somaliland.
He's from Somaliland. Yeah, there are a bunch of them. Forget about it. But this pussy.
Wait, what do you mean forget about them? What do you mean?
Long live the Jew side of the Somali, but not all. But anyways,
Somalilanders don't hate Jews or Israel.
Okay, all right. So you're on the. Oh yeah, no, he's on the good side. He's on the good side. But
Israel was actually the first country to recognize us.
Yeah. No, definitely. I'm with this. I'm with this. And anyways, no, I'm Kenyan and Israeli. But I know.
I've never heard of a Kenyan Jew.
I know some. Sorry, say that again.
I've heard of Ethiopian Jews. I've never heard of a Kenyan Jew.
No,
I gotta say, this fascinating conversation has me fascinated.
anyways, my dad reverted to Judaism, and then my mom became what he was. But yeah, I'm Kenyan, but and then we just became Jews. But my dad was Kenyan, and my mom was Jew, but she didn't believe in Judaism. But she's a Jew, but she didn't believe in it. And my dad was Kenyan, and then he started believing it. So, but that's how I know about in Somalia, they don't believe in it. By the way, Somalis, they really don't believe in it. But there's another part. That's how I know about the other part that is not accepting it, and that's why I know there's a few of them. Yeah, so he's not lying. So please don't tell me you're one of the few. Are you one of the few?
The few up.
the ones that believe in Judaism will prosper and take over?
No, I mean, we're Muslim, but we just have diplomatic ties with Israel.
Yeah, whatever it is. No. We're not religious here. We're just Jews. Not religious, just Jews. But
Yeah, go on.
so are you one of the
Okay, this is Chicago Republicans. My bad.
You just need attention? Is that it? No, I just don't like it. You getting up into other black men's business. I just don't like that. That child has a father. Anyway, go ahead, Ray. Okay, but why are you trying to undermine that child's relationship with his father? Shouldn't he be playing catch and learning how to box with his daddy?
Yeah, you're a real piece of shit, bro. That's okay.
How am I a piece of shit?
She is.
You don't find that to be overstepping somebody else's parental boundaries?
What are we talking about?
Shit, they have concrete love.
Concrete want to be confusing his ex-girlfriend's child by taking the child to play sports when he dumped the mother and confused the child, okay, and became another example of a man walking out of the child's life as opposed to allowing the child to spend time with his own damn father.
Hey,
Shy.
Then it must be like productive to have at least one male role model in his life.
Sure. Sure, I mean, you should have dumped them up.
How you doing, Dr. Adams?
You don't have to be with the man to be a positive male role model in a child's life. At least I don't feel that way. Anyway, what's going on?
How you doing?
Hey. Why do you sound like that?
Well, right now I'm driving and this fucking asshole is on my ass. And I'm like the biggest bitch because I'll like brake tap and then he shines his brakes at me like a little.
Pretty good. It's been a long time since I studied the crime, but I still remember what the basics of
That's a guy.
the crime.
You're the best. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
man. It's good to open up again.
Matthew,
Please, Matthew. Matthew, are you there? No, Matthew said check WhatsApp. Oh, go ahead.
Go like on the internet, he's gonna ask like he's gonna make a documentary about Somalis. So he's gonna say Mogadishu was not built by Somalis, it was built by Arabs, and Somalis took it from them. So that
Or only the Abrahamic religion is inspired by God.
Are you sure about that? Like, is that partially true, or?
No, I'm not sure about that.
What?
Just making sure.
Is this recording? I didn't watch it.
I'm live
So,
streaming.
hey, Otto, I think it's cool that you talk to Jesus and he tells you nothing very, very compelling. I think that's interesting.
No, it's called
you said
Defend Belief with
Yeah.
Honey Badger.
I'll say it again.
I need about 10 million. I need about 10 million units built across the nation.
you don't need cross the nation. Focus on Detroit first. Don't try to boil the ocean.
It's homeless people across the nation.
Yeah, but you gotta focus on the people in your community.
Because I think they find that they do fall into those cultural gender dynamics in all their relationships, and that's probably largely unaffected. And what is affecting their relationships are probably broader other.
Damn, so I be gaming niggas. You be putting niggas.
Oh yeah, like let's try this. Let's do this.
So what you gonna teach me, gang? I'm trying to see what. I ain't never heard no shit like that.
got years in the field, gang.
Y'all sound ridiculous. Y'all sound like a bunch of little boys who just want to play around in the sand.
Stop projecting, yeah.
Right?
It's nothing to do with me. I'm just saying that's just what they do. It's not something I requested.
Right. Hey, Gene. When you asked them why was it $3 million, what they tell you?
And they just said that that was the charge. Dang, boy, that scared the hell out of me. That was the shipping charge. But
Hey, I thought you were about to say something smart, nigga.
Bro, the left side of my brain is cooking right now. You gotta chill.
This nigga just get a hurt, bro.
yeah, we ain't gonna lie. I'll be.
I remember every week I get tired of this shit.
Who changed their number?
Me, because motherfuckers be always asking for my number.
Oh, so that means you be getting it out. They got stop us. We gotta change our life.
I don't get my number. I'm engaged.
I don't like talking about people when they're not here, but it's just like, ugh.
Hey, Rossi, follow me back.
I got you.
Hey, Rossi, where you say you from? If you don't mind me asking.
Roxy.
How you want me to say that, man?
It's Rocky World. I don't know why people call me Rocky. It's y'all.
I can't be calling no girl.
That's your nickname, yo.
Yeah.
I like
I'm from Nigeria. Where you from? Oh, I know where you're from. The side.
People in it's just okay.
That's the big ticket. What's the box?
This shit, you can't make this shit.
That's crazy. This nigga dumb as hell.
This shit raw as hell. Shit, I ain't gonna lie, for this shit too raw.
I got. Why you put Yale though? They like -4.
I have to break it down to look in the chat. You see, she said she's sorry. Her dude gave her some flowers and shit, and her ass is crying about how it wasn't enough. And
I ain't gonna lie, boss. I ain't gonna lie, Rondo. Earlier, she was completely embarrassing about man. She said she only had a cat. The other day, she said she had a man and a cat, and I brought it up today. Then she.
That, and the point that I would always grab to before is those three parables that Jesus says next to each other of the prodigal son, the lost coin, and the lost sheep. But what illuminated it to me today, and it wasn't anything that he said, it was just like I was thinking through the scripture when I was reading this, is that the son, the prodigal son, he was the son. He was already a son.
One thing I'm never gonna do is show y'all my face. If y'all don't already know who I am, that's on y'all.
That's how I feel. Like if you weren't here season 1, 2, 3, I don't know what season.
Thank you,
Mon.
Thank you, Mon. If you haven't,
I done lost my fucking season we in at this point. The seasons work weird on this app. We could be.
Mon, I'm not gonna lie, Mon is fine as hell, but not too much on Mon. Don't tell nobody that because if they can start stalking her again.
When we come to Malik, what he understood from the Sunnah was the practice of Ahlul Medina. Do you disagree with that?
Responsible. You see, the word responsible carries its own contradiction. It carries freedom. You are able freely to decide upon your own actions, but you must be responsible. You must do what you're told. So that paradox creates then the sense of the separate ego, which is, if anything, is a hallucination.
That's what I was saying.
Because it doesn't correspond to any kind of scientific facts whatsoever. The separate organism, although separate, although having a clear outline and identity in that sense, and although every human character is unique and different from all others, nevertheless, every organism goes with its environment inseparably. And the behavior of organism environment is a single field of behavior. These are the facts as they are seen by physicists, biologists, and ecologists. But our experience, our sensation of our own existence is not in accord with the facts. So what it seems necessary for us to do is not, as it were, to try to get rid of the sense of having a separate ego. You can't do that. You can't wash off blood with blood.
You done seen her before.
And if you try to get rid of it, you actually intensify the hallucination that it exists as a real thing. But the ego exists in the same way as the equator. That is to say, it is a social institution, an imaginary boundary, which has a certain convenience to it. But when you start mistaking social institutions for physical processes, you are under a hallucination. So then, could we possibly go to a state of consciousness in which, without giving up the spotlight, that is to say, the faculty for conscious attention, and for constructing symbolic worlds, by selection among our sense impressions, could we do that not sort of all by itself in a vacuum, but against the background of more generalized awareness? Because after all, every particular activity, every tracing out of details, as I pointed out yesterday, requires a background. So the background of ordinary attentive consciousness, looking at, is generalized awareness. And the more you become aware of generalized awareness, the more you realize that you and the external world, right out to the furthest known galaxies, are a single process. And so when this begins to appear, one moves into state number 4, which I call sensory awareness. There is a Zen saying When looking for the pillow in the dark, the mind is all in the hands. Now, it's very interesting how you can, as it were, shift your mind all over yourself. Normally one thinks of it as in the head, although for Chinese and Japanese, the center of the mind is always in the center of the chest, which they call Shin in Chinese or Kokoro in Japanese, and that means the heart mind. And they feel that they think from here. We feel, of course, that we think from here, and that we have a little man inside our head who is the ego and directs it all. But you can, as in the saying, you are looking for the pillow in the dark, or you're looking for the soap in the bathtub when all the water's cloudy, the mind is all in the hands. Now, beyond that, you can very simply get into a state of consciousness where your mind seems to be all over you. Where instead of feeling that you are looking at things, you feel rather that you are becoming them. And the whole external world comes on, one could only say, in a very different way from the usual. The reason why this can happen is, of course, that all that we feel about the external world is in fact a state of our own bodies. What you are seeing now in front of you is how it feels inside your head, in the optical nervous centers. Your brain, and all that goes with it, is translating whatever there is in the outside world into states of itself, called color, shape, weight, texture, and so on. So all that you see is you, really, physically. But also one must add to this, that one of the things in the external world is you. So you are both outside and inside. You are something in nature, but all that you know of nature is you. And you'd have to take these two things into consideration simultaneously. So sometimes it might feel as if everything you see is inside your skull. And the next moment it might feel that your skull is in the middle of everything. And then the next moment everything is inside you, and then you are in the middle of everything, you see? A sort of capping process like this. So, in this state, you find that you less and less discriminate between what is important to be looked at and what is not important to be looked at. In order to enter this state, the first thing that is necessary is to slow down, to suspend judgment on what you ought or ought not to be doing. And here I would say then that I'm describing the initial stage of a process of meditation. And in talking in general about meditation, it is absolutely essential to understand that one cannot meditate correctly if you do it as a preparatory exercise for something else. Meditation is not self-improvement. Do not enter into it under any such delusions. There is no one to be improved. Meditation is a form of enjoyment. It's a way of digging the universe, if I may put it so slangily. Meditation is not meditating on anything. This always bothers Orientals. When somebody says, well, while we do this or that, we meditate. Well, a Westerner always says, what do you meditate on? An Oriental can't understand that. We don't meditate on anything. Meditation isn't about anything. It isn't like thinking about. It's simply a clarification of consciousness. And can be about anything or nothing.
What's the first thing you do when you wake up in the morning? If you're checking your phone, stop that. Instead, try this technique from the...
And so to enter the state of mind, which is called jhana, which when translated into Japanese becomes Zen. Jhana is a yoga word. The first thing that's necessary is then to slow down and to abandon notions of what it is important to do and what is not important to do. And instead of closing your eyes, keep them open, keep your ears open.
N-word! Relax, N-word. Just relax, little N-word.
But don't program them. That is to say, don't tell them what they're supposed to look at. Let them simply fall upon, or let everything that is there to be heard or seen arrive.
Why don't you change your PTR, Edward? You look disgusting. You make me want to vomit.
Let your ears hear whatever they want to hear. Let your nose smell whatever it wants to smell. And let your sense of touch feel whatever it wants to touch. And in general, let your mind do whatever it wants to do. Of course, as a matter of habit, the mind tends to be incessantly chattering. Words set up constant circuits, and one skull is full of voices. They're not always your voice. Your mother's voice, your father's voice, your Aunt Matilda's voice, your teacher's voice is still talking to you when you think. And if you listen very carefully to your thoughts, you will hear other people in your head, because you see, you are not you. You are an amazing collection of what George Herbert Mead called the interiorized others. And all this chorus of voices is constantly directing your life and propagandizing you. You have now to tell them to shut up. And try to let thinking, that is to say, interior talking, stop. Now, you can't force it to shut up. And that is why one of the classical aids to meditation is concentration. To find something to focus the attention on so that the chattering will cease. And it should be something interesting. Something that is not interesting in the sense that you can think a lot of ideas about it, but something which is enormously fascinating for its purely sensuous aspects. The female form is not too appropriate for this purpose, nor the male form for women, because they find that very fascinating, because it has so much social junk attached to it, so many associations. So one inclines to choose something like jewelry, or a crystal, or a flower, or a purely abstract play of light patterns, or something like that, as what is called a support for contemplation. Something which you don't need to think about, but which you can look at enwrapped. And as you acquire this way of becoming wordlessly interested and fascinated with any focal point of consciousness, you will begin to see, as your eyes move, that the whole world is like that. That, for example, you become aware of the myriads of colors playing around on the floor. This isn't a question of trying to see how many things you can notice. You know, a game that children play is a tray of assorted objects is displayed before them for 1 minute and then covered, and you write down how many things you saw on the tray. It's not like that at all, because on any given tray there are infinitely many things, and you can never count them all up. It isn't the point of how many things can you see. The point is like having a clear window to look through instead of a dirty one. So that the whole of the sensorium, that is to say everything seen, heard, tasted, touched, and smelled, becomes much clearer. And none of it, as you learn not to think about it, it becomes much richer than it is when you think about it. And so everything starts to be more real, more alive, more glowing, and you suspend also judgments about things, what is good or what is bad. And in doing this, you introduce yourself to a fascinating world. That is why some Indian yogis practice what is called mauna, which is silence.
The fact is, we've come here right now. Millions of us lightworkers have incarnated on this planet right now at the same time together at exactly this specific moment to witness and support the universal awakening of humanity already underway, to finally get it right this time, to win. And even while this is true, so many of us are trapped in struggle and suffering ourselves. We're being held back, or in many cases, we're holding ourselves back from shining our lights and sharing our gifts in a much bigger way. A big part of my soul's purpose and calling here is to help beautiful souls just like you clear this one most awful imprint. And I'm so grateful to say that in just the past 2 years alone, I've supported over 25,000 sacred souls in this way. Many who have cleared this block with me have experienced profound and life-changing benefits, including miracle-level financial breakthroughs, the spontaneous shape-shifting of physical health challenges, greater clarity around and a deeper connection to their soul's purpose, greater power and ease in their gifts, total transformation of difficult relationship dynamics, kundalini awakenings, third eye openings, direct transmissions and downloads from their highest self, other peak experiences, and more. The Lightworkers Persecution Imprint is a block that limits us in so many ways, including in ways we don't even realize until after we've cleared it. Clearing this #1 worst hidden Lightworker block very often unlocks a massive upgrade in our mind-body energy system and a massive upgrade in many parts of our lives, including in parts of our lives we're not thinking about or expecting. I'll be leading a large group clearing of this block very soon. And I'd so love it if you would join me in our beautiful community of like-minded, like-hearted souls for a super powerful session during which we'll be doing the deepest, most thorough clearings of the Lightworkers Persecution Imprint I've ever led. You can attend online via phone or computer, and you can register right now for a price of your choosing. I don't want anyone to be excluded from attending this special live event. Money is no obstacle here. During this special live event, you will very likely experience some of the most profound clearings and transformations you've ever experienced. And you will leave with a newfound sense of expansion, wholeness, and peace, perhaps unlike any you felt before. With over 5,000 beautiful souls from over 100 countries planning to attend, this could be one of the biggest, most important events of the year for healers, empaths, starseeds, sensitive souls, and lightworkers of all kinds from around the world. The shared benefit, worldwide ripple effects, and shift in the collective consciousness are going to be tremendous. It's going to be a life-changing, world-changing, limit-shattering, and timeline-shifting event for you, for all of us, and for humanity. If you want to join, co-create, play, and heal with us, please click the link right now to register, and I'll so much look forward to seeing you there. Many blessings.
Okay, so that ad is delivered by Google. It's called the Lightworker Accelerator. EdwardMannix.com. That's a very good scam. Sure enough, you click and you can't actually register. So his site is down. Choose your contribution, $1 or $97. Close to $100,000 debt for over a decade. Gone. Read the FTC disclaimer. It's called Edward Mannix. My Philosophy. Anyways.
Greetings, fellow seekers of truth and wisdom. I'm inviting you to embark on a journey into the heart of Taoist philosophy. As an uncarved block holds the potential for all things, so too does the Tao Te Ching, a timeless text that reveals the mysteries of existence in the simplest yet profoundest ways. Today, I invite you to join me in exploring the essence of this ancient wisdom, and together, we shall learn the art of living in harmony with nature and ourselves. In the following reading, we will traverse the poetic words of Lao Tzu's Tao Te Ching, delving into its teachings on self-reflection, balance, and unity with the universe. Contemplate these ancient concepts and allow yourself to be fully present as we journey through this sacred text and open our minds to its transformative knowledge. The Tao that can be told is not the eternal Tao. The name that can be named is not the eternal name. The unnameable is the eternally real. Naming is the origin of all particular things. Free from desire, you realize the mystery. Caught in desire, you see only the manifestations. Yet mystery and manifestations arise from the same source. This source is called darkness. Darkness within darkness, the gateway to all understanding. When people see some things as beautiful, other things become ugly. When people see some things as good, other things become bad. Being and non-being create each other. Difficult and easy support each other. Long and short define each other. High and low depend on each other. Before and after follow each other. Therefore, the master acts without doing anything and teaches without saying anything. Things arise and she lets them come. Things disappear and she lets them go. She has but doesn't possess, acts but doesn't expect. When her work is done, she forgets it. That is why it lasts forever. If you overesteem great men, people become powerless. If you overvalue possessions, people begin to steal. The master leads by emptying people's minds and filling their cores, by weakening their ambition and toughening their resolve. He helps people lose everything they know, everything they desire, and creates confusion in those who think that they know. Practice not doing, and everything will fall into place. The Tao is like a well, used but never used up. It is like the eternal void, filled with infinite possibilities. It is hidden but always present. I don't know who gave birth to it. It is older than God. The Tao doesn't take sides. It gives birth to both good and evil. The Master doesn't take sides. She welcomes both saints and sinners. The Tao is like a bellows. It is empty, yet infinitely capable. The more you use it, the more it produces. The more you talk of it, the less you understand. Hold on to the center. The Tao is called the Great Mother. Empty, yet inexhaustible. It gives birth to infinite worlds. It is always present within you. You can use it any way you want. The Tao is infinite, eternal. Why is it eternal? It was never born. Thus it can never die. Why is it infinite? It has no desires for itself. Thus it is present for all beings. The Master stays behind. That is why she is ahead. She is detached from all things. That is why she is one with them. Because she has let go of herself, she is perfectly fulfilled. The supreme good is like water, which nourishes all things without life. It is content with the low places that people disdain. Thus it is like the Tao. In dwelling, live close to the ground. In thinking, keep to the simple. In conflict, be fair and generous. In governing, don't try to control. In work, do what you enjoy. In family life, be completely present. When you are content to be simply yourself and don't compare or compete, everybody will respect you. Fill your bowl to the brim and it will spill. Keep sharpening your knife and it will blunt. Chase after money and security and your heart will never unclench. Care about people's approval and you will be their prisoner. Do your work, then step back. The only path to serenity. Can you coax your mind from its wandering and keep to the original oneness? Can you let your body become supple as a newborn child? Can you cleanse your inner vision until you see nothing but the light? Can you love people and lead them without imposing your will? Can you deal with the most vital matters by letting events take their course? Can you step back from your own mind and thus understand all things? Giving birth and nourishing, having without possessing, acting with no expectations, leading and not trying to control. This is the supreme virtue. We join spokes together in a wheel, but it is the center hole that makes the wagon move. We shape clay into a pot, but it is the emptiness inside that holds whatever we want. We hammer wood for a house, but it is the inner space that makes it livable. We work with being, but non-being is what we use. Colors blind the eye, sounds deafen the ear, flavors numb the taste, thoughts weaken the mind, desires wither the heart. The Master observes the world, but trusts his inner vision. He allows things to come and go. His heart is open as the sky. Success is as dangerous as failure. Hope is as hollow as fear. What does it mean that success is as dangerous as failure? Whether you go up the ladder or down it, your position is shaky. When you stand with your 2 feet on the ground, you will always keep your balance. What does it mean? That hope is as hollow as fear. Hope and fear are both phantoms that arise from thinking of the self. When we don't see the self as self, what do we have to fear? See the world as yourself. Have faith in the way things are. Love the world as yourself. Then you can care for all things. Look, and it can't be seen. Listen, and it can't be heard. Reach, and it can't be grasped. Above, it isn't bright. Below, it isn't dark. Seamless, unnameable. It returns to the realm of nothing. Form that includes all forms, image without an image, subtle, beyond all conception. Approach it, and there is no beginning. Follow it, and there is no end. You can't know it, but you can be it, at ease in your own life. Just realize where you come from. This is the essence of wisdom. The ancient masters were profound and subtle. Their wisdom was unfathomable. There is no way to describe it. All we can describe is their appearance. They were careful as someone crossing an iced-over stream, alert as a warrior in enemy territory, courteous as a guest, fluid as melting ice, shapeable as a block of wood, receptive as a valley, clear as a glass of water. Do you have the patience to wait till your mud settles and the water is clear? Can you remain unmoving till the right action arises by itself? The Master doesn't seek fulfillment, not seeking, not expecting. She is present and can welcome all things. Empty your mind of all thoughts. Let your heart be at peace. Watch the turmoil of beings, but contemplate their return. Each separate being in the universe returns to the common source. Returning to the source is serenity. If you don't realize the source, you stumble in confusion and sorrow. When you realize where you come from, you naturally become tolerant, disinterested, amused, kind-hearted as a grandmother, dignified as a king. Immersed in the wonder of the Tao, you can deal with whatever life brings you, and when death comes, you are ready. When the master governs, the people are hardly aware that he exists. Next best is a leader who is loved. Next, one who is feared. The worst is one who is despised. If you don't trust the people, you make them untrustworthy. The master doesn't talk. He acts. When his work is done, the people say, amazing, we did it all by ourselves. When the great Tao is forgotten, goodness and piety appear. When the body's intelligence declines, cleverness and knowledge step forth. When there is no peace in the family, filial piety begins. When the country falls into chaos, patriotism is born. Throw away holiness and wisdom, and people will be 100 times happier. Throw away morality and justice, and people will do the right thing. Throw away industry and profit, and there won't be any thieves. If these three aren't enough, stay at the center of the circle and let all things take their course. Stop thinking and end your problem.
What if?
What difference between yes and no?
You should know better.
What difference between success and failure? Must you value what others value? Avoid what others avoid. How ridiculous. Other people are excited, as though they were at a parade. I alone don't care. I alone am expression. Like an infant before it can smile. Other people have what they need. I alone possess nothing. I alone drift about, like someone without a home. I'm like an idiot. My mind is so empty. Other people are bright. I alone am dark. Other people are sharper. I alone am dull. Other people have a purpose. I alone don't know. I drift like a wave on the ocean. I blow as aimless as the wind. I am different from ordinary people. I drink from the Great Mother's breasts. The Master keeps her mind always at one with the Tao. That is what gives her her radiance. The Tao is ungraspable. How can her mind be at one with it? Because she doesn't cling to ideas. The Tao is dark and unfathomable. How can it make her radiant? Because she lets it. Since before time and space were, the Tao is. It is beyond is and is not. How do I know this is true? I look inside myself and see. The Master, by residing in the Tao, sets an example for all beings. Because he doesn't display himself, people can see his light. Because he has nothing to prove, people can trust his words. Because he doesn't know who he is, people recognize themselves in him. Because he has no goal in mind, everything he does succeeds. When the ancient masters said, if you want to be given everything, give everything up, they weren't using empty phrases. Only in being lived by the Tao can you be truly yourself. Express yourself completely, then keep quiet. Be like the forces of nature. When it blows, there is only wind. When it rains, there is only rain. When the clouds pass, the sun shines through. If you open yourself to the Tao, you are at one with the Tao, and you can embody it completely. If you open yourself to insight, you are at one with insight, and you can use it completely. If you open yourself to loss, you are at one with loss, and you can accept it completely. Open yourself to the Tao, then trust your natural responses, and everything will fall into place. He who stands on tiptoe doesn't stand firm. He who rushes ahead doesn't go far. He who tries to shine dims his own light. He who defines himself can't know who he really is. He who has power over others can't empower himself. He who clings to his work will create nothing that endures. If you want to accord with the Tao, just do your job, then let go. There was something formless and perfect before the universe was born. It is serene, empty, solitary, unchanging, infinite, eternally present. It is the mother of the universe. For lack of a better name, I call it the Tao. It flows through all things, inside and outside, and returns to the origin of all things. The Tao is great, the universe is great, Earth is great, man is great. These are the four great powers. Man follows the Earth. Earth follows the universe. The universe follows the Tao. The Tao follows only itself. The heavy is the root of the light. The unmoved is the source of all movement. Thus the Master travels all day without leaving home. However splendid the views, she stays serenely in herself. Why should the lord of the country flit about like a fool? If you let yourself be blown to and fro, you lose touch with your root. If you let restlessness move you, you lose touch with who you are. A good traveler has no fixed plans and is not intent upon arriving. A good artist lets his intuition lead him wherever it wants. A good scientist has freed himself of concepts and keeps his mind open to what is. Thus the Master is available to all people and doesn't reject anyone. He's ready to use all situations and doesn't waste anything. This is called embodying the light. What is a good man but a bad man's teacher? What is a bad man but a good man's job? If you don't understand this, you will get lost, however intelligent you are. It is the great secret. Know the male, yet keep to the female. Receive the world in your arms. If you receive the world, the Tao will never leave you, and you will be like a little child. Know the white, yet keep to the black. Be a pattern for the world. If you are a pattern for the world, the Tao will be strong inside you, and there will be nothing you can't do. Know the personal, yet keep to the impersonal. Accept the world as it is. If you accept the world, the Tao will be luminous inside you, and you will return to your primal self. The world is formed from the void, like utensils from a block of wood. The master knows the utensils, yet keeps to the block. Thus she can use all things. If you want to improve the world, I don't think it can be done. The world is sacred. It can't be improved. If you tamper with it, you'll ruin it. If you treat it like an object, you'll lose it. There's a time for being ahead, a time for being behind, a time for being in motion, a time for being at rest, a time for being vigorous, a time for being exhausted, a time for being safe, a time for being in danger. The master sees things as they are, without trying to control them. She lets them go their own way, and resides at the center of the circle. Whoever relies on the Tao in governing men doesn't try to force issues or defeat enemies by force of arms. For every force, there is a counterforce. Violence, even well-intentioned, always rebounds upon oneself. The master does his job and then stops. He understands that the universe is forever out of control, and that trying to dominate events goes against the current of the Tao. Because he believes in himself, he doesn't try to convince others. Because he is content with himself, he doesn't need others' approval. Because he accepts himself, the whole world accepts him. Weapons are the tools of violence. All decent men detest them. Weapons are the tools of fear. A decent man will avoid them except in the direst necessity, and if compelled, will use them only with the utmost restraint. Peace is his highest value. If the peace has been shattered, how can he be content? His enemies are not demons, but human beings like himself. He doesn't wish them personal harm, nor does he rejoice in victory. How could he rejoice in victory and delight in the slaughter of men? He enters a battle bravely, with sorrow and with great compassion.
Robert, will you be my Valentine?
The Tao can't be perceived. Smaller than
Robert's
an electron,
response
it contains
is,
uncountable
I
powers.
will be your Valentine.
If powerful men and women could remain centered in the Tao, all things would be in harmony. The world would become a paradise. All people would be at peace, and the law would be written in their hearts. When you have names and forms, know that they are provisional. When you have institutions, know where their functions should end. Knowing when to stop, you can avoid any danger. All things end in the Tao as rivers flow into the sea.